Get it together, girl.
I'm trying.
Get it together.
Should I sit like this?
Yeah.
This isn't therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This isn't therapy.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
And welcome back to another fun,
Flirty.
fabulous
Episode
of This Isn't Therapy.
Wow.
The podcast about all things mental health.
Yes.
Wait, is that?
No, it's all the takes to your therapist.
Oh my God.
But that's okay. What's your name?
Whoa, that was like a throwback.
Yeah.
Those who know. My name is Jake Ernst, and I'm a therapist. Who are you?
Good morning. I'm Simon Ballack, and I am not a therapist, but the two of us are just two gal pals
Yeah.
who like to take these grubby little paws and peel back the therapy curtain. This one, in fact, reach our grubby little paws into the therapy room, pull out a theme, a question, a factoid, a question, something that's just kind of floating around in the culture, and then just have a casual Kelly couch conversation about it. Why?
Well, it's because therapy themes are everywhere you look.
That's right.
Right here in this room.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, wait. Speaking of therapy themes,
Yes.
what's on the docket today?
All right. Today we got a good old mashup of some good therapy themes. We
Yeah.
are talking about that 30-day digital detox and
And then we're also talking about the 4 roles of that make up like social change,
yeah.
and the different like roles that are required in order to create social change.
And I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. How have the past like few episodes been for you? I feel like seeing the reception. We're
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
It's been
The cocktail reception.
lovely, gal.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I also feel really at home. I feel very like at peace with
Like physically, you feel physically at home
Yeah, it
cool.
just feels good to like be here with you on set.
on set.
Yeah, and on camera.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
I know if you're not already, if you're just listening to us in the traditional ways that you used to
Yeah.
consume this podcast, we are now live and in color.
Get into it.
Yeah, so check us out on YouTube. We're posting the full episode so you can watch us and listen and learn and laugh with us.
Love it.
And you can also follow us on all the socials because we're literally everywhere now. It's
Love it.
obnoxious.
Love it.
But you know what? We're just trying to spread the good word.
We are.
Which is what, Jake? What's the good word?
the good word?
Yeah.
Today the word of the week is petty.
Petty.
Oh, okay.
Petty.
I didn't know you were gonna go there. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say pancake, but...
Pancakes. Okay.
Okay, petty pancake.
Can't wait to be there. I'll see
All
you
right,
soon.
so let's get to our first episode,
Okay.
our segment. Good morning.
Cue the swoosh.
Okay, Jakey, talk to me about a 30-day detox.
Okay, so here's the thing. I get a lot of questions about this. People
you?
kind of asking, like, how can I repair or reset my relationship
Yeah.
with my phone? And a lot of the research is pointing us in the direction of going cold turkey, abstinence,
Yeah.
on completely eliminating the parts or features of our smartphones that keep us hooked. And many people don't know this, but it seems like the research is pointing in the direction that the gold standard is 30 days. That it takes about 30 days, 4 weeks, give or take, a little bit more, a little bit less, to reset, repair the dopamine receptors in our brain.
Are you talking about when you're talking about a 30-day detox, you're talking about like literally do not use your phone at all for 30 days?
We are saying dopamine detox. Yeah.
Dopamine detox. So that's different.
Let's actually back up a second because
Okay.
there is a bit of a misnomer in the title that I
Yeah.
think can sometimes catch people off
Okay,
guard.
so you agree.
So I'm lying, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're a liar.
Exactly.
Okay, so you like clickbait.
Well, I'm not the inventor of the word,
Okay,
of
yeah.
the concept,
Yeah, but you're just
however,
instigating it.
It's actually impossible to detox from dopamine. We're not trying to get rid of and detoxify our brain of dopamine. We have dopamine freely available. Many of us have it in different doses. And so we're not actually trying to get rid of dopamine. That's people often think like if you're like detoxing from sugar, for example,
Yeah.
like you're trying to rebalance or reset your blood sugar, for example. This is different. We're not trying to get rid of dopamine. We are trying to move our brain into a system where we are moving away from quick and fast dopamine into the slow dopamine processes.
Yeah.
And so in our brain, we have different neurotransmitters, one of them being dopamine, another one being serotonin. Dopamine is that one that is, yes, responsible for reward and pleasure, but it's also highly involved in motivation. So, for example, there's more dopamine that's released in our pursuit of a piece of chocolate than actually is when we eat the piece of chocolate. And so that means, which means that there's actually more dopamine in the process of motivation than actually in the receiving of a reward.
Okay, so that's why we have dopamine.
Yeah.
Like pre-cell phones, pre-chocolate.
It's mainly to motivate us.
To motivate us.
Yeah,
Oh,
to help
okay.
us move towards things. And
Okay.
it's the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning, right? It's the thing that helps us put our feet on the ground and says, okay, today's a new day and I'm going to start my day. And it's also the reason why when we have little dopamine available, at different parts of the day, but mainly in the morning, why we can't get out of bed or why it's hard to get out of bed to get there. And so one of the things that also is at play here is serotonin. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter that rebalances us. Many people think it's just about happiness. It's the thing that makes us feel good, but it's about long-term satisfaction, and it's the neurotransmitter that rebalances our brain chemistry.
And do they work together, dopamine and serotonin? Or does serotonin kind of like counterbalance an influx of dopamine?
They work in parallel.
They work in parallel.
They have separate jobs.
Like you and me.
Like you and I, yeah. Separate jobs.
Yeah.
But we do work in tandem, in parallel.
And if we work in tandem.
Well, actually, let's use that word. Think of it like a tandem bike, right? If
Okay.
we're both pedaling at the same speed, we're going to be more efficient than if one of us is not pedaling.
Okay.
So if I weren't pedaling, which probably would be the case,
And I'm just in the back, serotonin being like,
in this duo, yeah, exactly.
okay.
And so maybe like dopamine is like, but I think dopamine would be the one that's like pedaling on overdrive, right?
Okay.
It tries as much as possible to motivate us, but it can only pedal based on the energy that it has available.
Okay, so connect this to social media. Why
Yeah.
is social media sort of, I'm assuming your point is that social media is creating an influx of dopamine.
If we just zoom out, it's actually more algorithms. So anytime
Okay,
we're interacting
algorithms.
with algorithms, and yes, they're on social media, they're also in video games, they're also in online shopping. There's many places on the internet where these tech companies are using algorithms as a way to trip up that dopamine reward pathway to get us to constantly pursue something new or different. So that's why scrolling and the infinite scroll is so effective, is because it keeps us on that path of what we would think is motivation.
Yeah.
We're trying to find something or search for something.
Yeah. The
which
slot
is-
machine.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
you kind of used in the past before.
Which in a lot of ways is that it makes us feel good, yes,
Yeah.
but it's actually what are called intermittent rewards that keep us cycling through the content. So we're not actually expecting to find the funniest video or the cutest dog content every time we hit a new video. It's actually the fact that there are not so attractive contents on there that keep us going, because we're trying to find the thing that's going to hook or keep our focus.
Are you talking about like videos that like enrage us, or
Anything. So
it's not just the positive stuff, or it's not the positive stuff?
it's both. Yeah.
Oh, it's both.
Yep. There can be a lot of dopamine released actually in rage bait content.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so that's why it keeps people there and also brings people back. Because one of the main features of these apps too that keeps people coming back is that there's low emotional friction to use it. So you just have to open the app. And so it doesn't really take a lot of effort or a lot of energy to really get there, right? You just have to make a few clicks and you're in the casino essentially.
Right.
And so there is really good benefit in resetting our dopamine reward pathways. One of the ways that science shows us we can do that is by not doing it, not participating or abstaining for 30 days. This is the hard part. And I don't think this is the information that a lot of people like to hear, which is that the reset doesn't mean that we get to start brand new again. Because if we have been in the casino, or if we've been, and again, this applies to even things like gambling or eating a lot of sugar or, reading like sexy novels, dopamine can be available in many places. But what this means is that when the balance is permanently set to the side of pleasure for far too long, then it can also permanently reset equal and opposite to the side of pain, which means that when we re-engage with the activity again after 30 days, we may be actually more prone to addiction and maybe more prone to refueling that fire when we keep on repeating that system.
So that's fascinating.
Which means that it's not fully resetting, as in like you're regrowing skin cells, for example.
Right.
It's that it could be also permanently reset if the initial use was overused or chronic.
So it's just, if it is a chronic overuse, then are you sort of suggesting that in order to achieve like a level of pleasure from this thing, it takes a little bit more.
Yes.
You got to scroll a little longer. You got to shop a little more. Okay.
And so this is obviously a conversation about addiction, because this is not just about smartphones and digital technology. This is about anytime our reward pathway is tripped up way too much. And so in the tech environment, dopamine is in saturation. There's just so much dopamine available that's there,
right,
which makes it so attractive to be there. And that's typically what keeps us hooked on that cycle. So it is really, it's healthy to abstain or to detox from that amount of dopamine all at once. And so essentially what you're doing is you're giving your brain a break, which is really healthy. But the caution here is that when you do use it too much, and this is true of anything, whether that's, even cannabis or alcohol, it doesn't mean that you can go back and use it in the same way once the detox period or the abstinence period is over. And so this is why people who are in recovery for long-term addiction can also relapse. They can go back to their old ways or the habits because of that same system I was just talking about.
Yeah.
But it's also the reason why lifetime decreasing of use is also important. And so I think that this is where we have a whole generation of folks, and I'm not just talking about Gen Z, I'm talking about anyone who's using social media or algorithms or technology a lot. And again, this can come from text messages or emails too. It might mean that we need to reassess and reevaluate our relationship with it altogether, even beyond like a 30-day abstinence period.
So I want to go back a second. So when you were talking about if we have too much dopamine, too much pleasure, right? You said it kind of upset the balance, which is the opposite, which is pain. So what happens in the pain side? So if I've an abundance of pleasure, what happens then with the pain side? Am I more susceptible for things to be more painful or uncomfortable because I have too much pleasure, or what happens there?
Yeah. So Dr. Anna Lemke, she is a researcher at Stanford. And
I just saw her last week.
What did she have to say?
Oh, she just said, hi.
Hi.
She said, I love the pod.
She said, hello, hi.
She said, hello, hi, I love the pod.
Yeah.
She's like, when can I be on it? And I said, we're not taking guests right now.
We're not taking guests, but we'll check in soon.
Yeah. We'll have our people talk to your people.
Yeah. And so she wrote a book called Dopamine Nation.
Yeah.
And she is just such a brilliant researcher, but also she really guides us towards this system of 30-day detox that I think is so effective. And I use it a lot with my clients. One of the things that she points our attention to, which is that pain and pleasure are processed in the same part of the brain. And this is the reason why there is an equal and opposite reaction when we have too much pleasure. And so again, if we have way too much dopamine release activities, so those are, again, short form content, it could obviously come from other substances too. When we have too much of that, there's an equal and opposite reaction to the side of pain. And so when it gets pressed on the side of pain as well, we also experience the opposite form of pleasure. An example of that is like when you're working out at the gym. Yes, it's stressful and painful. There is a pain element to that, but we also get the equal and opposite reaction of endorphins and adrenaline and the cortisol reduction, right, that comes from doing those positive pushing on the side of pain side of it. So it's a balance, and what we want to try to do is reduce our use by not pushing on the side of pleasure too much, especially when we don't need to.
Right.
And then we also forget that we can push on the side of pain too. So we can also, for some people, meditation is uncomfortable. and can trip up those pain receptors. Social interaction can also do that as well. Hot cold exposure is another example. For young people, like doing homework or even like applying for a job, right, it can be pushing on the side of discomfort. And so we forget that we can also do that at the same time that we're detoxing or reducing our use.
Okay,
And
so for too much pleasure,
Yep.
then we don't know how to push through pain or to use pain.
Yeah, so if we just back up, what we can expect that when we just go cold turkey
Yeah.
by not pushing on the pleasure side as often, what we experience are withdrawal effects. And so those are the physiological symptoms of withdrawal, universal symptoms too. So those would be anxiety, depression. For some people, it's insomnia, sleeplessness, cravings and wanting it back. Those are to be expected. So when you go on this 30-day detox, if that's what you choose to do, you can expect to experience withdrawal symptoms. And so many people take those withdrawal symptoms, right? So maybe that extra little bit of stress or some sleeplessness or the cravings, and they take that as a sign that it's not working. And so they stop doing the detox. And so they say, uh-oh, I must be doing something wrong. My
Right.
brain and body are screaming at me. And so I must not be doing it right. And so the goal here is to tolerate the withdrawal symptoms and overcome that period of the process. And so typically that takes about 2-3 weeks to overcome the withdrawal, depending on how intense they are.
Right.
And then by week 4, your brain feels like a whole new brain. And especially in really young kids who maybe are really attached to video games or even the iPad, you also have a whole new kid after that process. And I've experienced that many, many times. Getting over that hump, especially in extreme cases where the attachment or the addiction is really intense. And so again, it's important to recognize that withdrawal will be part of the process. And you will experience things like cravings or big thoughts, big feelings around that. And the goal will, again, is to stick to it and to override those messages.
It's interesting because I guess the pleasure, the overabundance of having the pleasure is sort of a byproduct of that, or the cause of that is also like this instant gratification.
Yeah.
We've made it so easy to shop, or we've made it so easy to just scroll for content or to do stuff, right? So I can see how something like, oh, it's going to take 3, 4, 5 weeks to get out of something could be, if we don't have that skill set of like working through something over a long period of time, when we're sort of trained to just get something instantly, I can also see how that could also be part of the recipe of the withdrawal of like,
Oh, for sure.
this is really hard. Like I'm used to clicking something and getting something, but then suddenly I'm not getting that. So it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this
And
is going to be very slow.
a lot of this is due to age, but for many of the teenagers I work with, this is the hardest thing they've ever done. And so this is also can feel counterintuitive as a treatment protocol, this detox period, because it does feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And again, that is also true of anything that we're addicted to or anything that we're overly attached to.
Yeah.
That there is a discomfort that we push through and move through to get there. But you're right, it is becoming too easy to feel good. It's becoming way too easy to feel happy, to feel relaxed, to feel calm. But I would even argue that those are synthetic versions of those things.
Right.
It's not true satisfaction and bliss and happiness and calm. What we're in, I think, is this constant state of coping and finding relief and soothing.
Right.
That doesn't actually get the job done, so to speak. It's
So-
a more short-term effect than a long-term one.
Which I was going to say that this is where serotonin kind of comes in, right?
Yes.
Like serotonin is the longer form.
Yes.
It'll bring you closer to the true form
Yes.
of bliss, of happiness, of joy. And
Yes.
versus dopamine is a motivator, short bursts, but we're getting a little too used to the addiction of the short bursts.
The short bursts,
That
exactly.
we're then being like, oh, this is happiness, this is joy.
And so the key here to this formula is, yes, reducing access to those addictive pleasures by perhaps doing something like a 30-day detox or even a 14-day detox to start.
Yeah.
We also have to introduce the serotonin release as well. So the serotonin release comes from things like going for a walk, going to the park and sitting on a bench and watching the clouds. It comes from reading a book, listening to maybe long form content, like actually watching a movie that brings you.
Or watching an entire YouTube episode.
You heard it here first. Listen, find us on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. We love you, YouTube.
Thanks, YouTube.
Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah.
And what that means is that many people have, like you're saying, have grown accustomed to needing or requiring or wanting the short term stuff.
Right.
Which I think in a lot of ways is just, again, those synthetic forms of the real thing. So we need to get back to the real thing.
My God.
And I've always said that.
You've always said that.
Yeah,
That's so real.
exactly.
Honestly, you're the realest person. Those eyes realize.
Yeah, listen, we also, I think that really primitive part of us, that early part of us is like, I need something to hunt and to pursue and to overcome and to challenge me. And the problem is that a lot of these technologies are built to exploit those really primitive early instincts that we have, whether that's for socialization. So we are like watching people hang out, watching people do things rather than doing things ourselves. And we're also, unfortunately, not doing the things that we need to be doing because we're so distracted and disconnected because of this technology. And so I personally think that there is a really good argument for doing less of this stuff, and there is an even better argument to not do it at all. It's becoming complicated and hard to do that, right? Because it seems as though our whole lives are built around our smartphones. That we have wallets on there, we have emails on there, we have calling on there. It just seems like so much of it has become essential because of the way the world is structured right now.
Yeah.
That we forget that, oh yeah, there is a ton of like really fast dopamine that's available here.
Yeah.
But we can also use it for good too. We can also use it in really structured ways by putting limits on our phone or, meeting people in person rather than FaceTiming them.
Yeah.
All those things, right? But we've just become so accustomed to it.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyway.
we could spend so much time talking about this.
We could.
I'm endlessly fascinated by this.
Yeah.
Because it feels very...
It's important. When I work with young people, maybe we can just use this as a wrap up. I would say that whether I'm speaking in schools or working with kids one-on-one, they want to be off of it. They don't want to be there, and they want to find solutions that work. And so I have sort of really made it my mission at this juncture in my life and my career and with my work is to, yes, participate in the education of that, but also I really just think it's my work right now to help people unhook and to build back the parts of their brains and the skills, the muscles that we've lost to technology. So
A return to social health.
there it is.
There it is.
And we have been saying that.
We've been saying that forever, now on iTunes.
Who is having that conversation?
Well, we are right now.
Well, hello, hi.
Live and in color.
So let's take a quick break.
Yes.
And we'll come back and talk about social change.
Yeah.
And no, we are not talking about the change in your wallet.
Oh, whoa, Jake. Whoa, what a segue. Whoa.
Strap in your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay, BRB.
Okay, bye.
Listen, that swoosh is getting me. That is like, I feel like I'm like getting whiplash from that.
Yeah, and if you're just listening to this, you may just be hearing the whoosh, but you need to be watching it because then you could see the whoosh.
That's true. You will see that we are indeed wearing seatbelts.
And we are whooshing.
Yeah. Okay. So take us through this. Get us to where we need to go.
Okay, so obviously there's a lot going on in the world, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of like mobilization. There's
I've
a lot
heard.
of you've heard it.
Yeah.
And if anyone out there is like me, I sometimes get a little overwhelmed with like, how do I participate? How do I
show
participate
up?
in like a meaningful way? How do
Yeah.
I, and like, what's my role in this? Like, especially if it's something that's like geographically far away, it's like, does what I'm doing here have impact, etc. None of us can really answer those questions. So instead of trying to tackle all of that, I kind of went into like a bit of a deep dive into like, well, what actually makes a social change? Like,
Sure.
what is it? And I'm always trying to like, I don't know, bring it back down to earth and not just have it be nebulous ideas, but are there people who are much smarter than me who can like study human mobilization through like the history of ever and be like, oh yeah, this plus this plus this plus this
Yeah.
equals Like,
I don't think you
as
should
I said.
undersell yourself. I think you're a smart girl.
You think I'm a smart girl?
I do.
Well, we
yeah.
try. I'd like to learn.
I
like
learn,
to learn.
and I learn from you all the
Do
time.
you?
Yeah.
What name 3 things you learned from me in the last 24 hours?
Okay, I have learned how. Actually, wait, no. This is
Go.
is this a test?
Yeah, go.
Okay, I have learned how to cut and splice on what's that? What's the app you taught me about? Premiere.
Premiere? Yeah.
Premiere.
Yeah.
I've taught how to edit a video.
Yeah.
I have learned how to. Remember that time that we got together and we ordered Indian food
Yeah.
at your house?
Yeah.
You taught me that the best way to do it is to order it in bulk, and so I have used that. I have used that method.
You're just like, I'm going to order in bulk.
I have used that method.
Yeah.
Many a time if I'm trying to entertain.
Well, I think it's psychotic to order just one meal for yourself, especially when you order Indian food. Anyways, continue.
Okay, and I've also learned a lot about from you in the confidence and self-esteem department.
Why?
I think you are like so tightly yourself.
Wow. Oh, that's actually so nice.
Yeah, stop yelling. But
Okay, I'll stop yelling. I'm not. Okay, never mind. This is the boy.
No,
okay,
I-
so maybe.
yeah, I've learned a lot.
Okay, thank
and
you.
I could go on, but I won't.
Well, I only asked for 3 things.
Thank
so
you.
thank you for following the instructions.
thank
That was
you.
really sweet.
Yeah.
Anyways, to bring it back to the outside of me, yeah. So I found an article online, and what I liked about it is that it sort of broke down very concisely the 4 different roles that you could take when bringing about social change. And again, by no means is this the exhaustive list, but I thought it was like a really nice starting point. And then because I work in film and TV, I was like, I don't know, this like I still don't get it. Like I need like an archetype to help me out.
Okay.
So I found like different characters with the help of Charlie to match up the different roles. So let's just talk through them, and I want to know what you think and like about all
Let's
of
do
this.
it. Yeah, fun.
So the 4 roles, just to begin, is there's the citizen, the reformer, the rebel, and the change agent. Oh. So these are the 4 different roles that are like required to bring about social change. And the interesting about this is that movements don't require one person to be all of these things. Movements require different people to be different things at different times, because not everyone should be the rebel. Not everyone should be the change agent.
Right.
Again, this is just like a very like way to bring around all these big thoughts into like some words so we can have the conversation. I'm sure there's more nuance to it, but for a starting point, I found it really helpful. So I thought I would share it.
Essentially, what you're saying is that everyone has a different role to play.
Yes.
In a change ecosystem.
Yep.
That means that we don't all have to feel the pressure to be one of them.
Exactly.
That we don't all have to be, let's say, the rebel, or
Yeah.
we don't always have to all be the reformer, the person that's maybe doing like the legislative change.
Exactly.
Or working towards maybe. What do you think about? Maybe you were going to get into this, but what do you think about kind of the online version of that? Because I do think that there is a lot of pressure to show up online as, let's say, the activist
Yeah.
or the person with the opinions and the hot takes.
Yeah. Why don't we go through it?
'Kay.
And then we can
Yeah.
talk about that at the end. Because I
Cool.
think that would be like a great way to sort of like bring this conversation to the pod.
Yeah.
Let's bring it online. Because I think that's where a lot of activism and like mobilization is occurring right now too. So it'd be interesting to kind of like look at the culture
Yeah.
around that. Yeah. Save it for
Right.
the end.
Yeah.
Your Honor, can we save it to the end?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the first one is the citizen.
Okay.
And so the citizen is one of the roles is their job is to promote shared knowledge and values like justice, freedom, or fairness through personal integrity. However, what's interesting about this is that the ineffectiveness of them too as well is that they sometimes just blindly follow authority or tradition without question. So an effective example of like a citizen would be like Ted Lasso. So this is someone who like uses decency, integrity, and a belief in their community and in themselves to show that you can embody positive values in just everyday interactions. So it's very like, to me, my understanding of that is like, it's very like grounded.
Yeah.
It's very like smaller. It's coming from me, the citizen, the everyday person.
And so where does the type of citizen, because I obviously am noticing a difference in maybe in definition between just like a citizen of a country,
Yeah.
and then maybe the moral duty of what this would require, which is a different type of citizenship. What do you think about the citizens who, let's say, don't participate in that form of social change and maybe aren't interested in that form of social change?
Well, here's an ineffective example of someone, a character.
Okay.
So this is, for an example, would be Stanley from The Office, for example, who sort of represents someone who is disengaged, who's just passively participating in a system. They show up, but they avoid responsibility. They avoid change. They avoid engaging, even though they may see the problem.
Maybe this is a big question, but
Yeah.
I do think that at this time, because as we were talking about, there's just a lot going on. It can be really overwhelming for people to first, I think, define their roles and figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And then also second, to figure out like, what I'm doing in my role, like, is it effective and is it helpful?
Totally.
And I think that there is such a fine line, right, between that effective helping and that effective citizenship that we're kind of referring to, and the person who's sort of like, no, it's too much, it's too overwhelming, and so I'm not going to do anything. I look at that through the lens of stress responses, and I think about the person who's going to freeze versus the person who's going to fight.
But okay, well, let me throw a little caution to this. I don't think this is a choose your character. Like, choose your player. At least that's not how I'm trying to approach this.
Okay.
I'm just trying to approach this as like, these are some of the ways, like, you don't have to be the big hero to bring about social change. There are ways that you can do it, much smaller, tangible, grassrootsy type of ways that don't require you, for example, to, like, not everyone needs to be protesting, right? Which is, I thought, was interesting. Like, there are small human ways that just in your everyday interactions, you can help bring about social change. That's not necessarily always about sort of like, F you to the man.
Yeah.
But that role, which we'll see later, is important.
This is also fascinating too when you think about our conversation last week or a few weeks ago where we are talking about what is it that makes someone a good person.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of what we're talking about here is it is really a part, I think, of our society right now to say a good person is someone who values social change. A good person is someone who can assess society as it is and notice its flaws and then work towards making it better and making it a healthier place for us all to live. And I just think about a lot of the conversations that we've had in the past, and I just come back to the same point, which is that it's really hard to be together these days, it feels. And then I zoom out and think, well, has it always been? Maybe it's always been this way, but our access to information and stories like have just really changed and evolved. And I don't know.
I hear your point.
Making it complicated, right? To clarify, like, what should I do? What should I think? How should I feel about this?
But to Ted Lasso, I don't know. Have you seen Ted Lasso?
No.
Okay, so I've seen, I think, 2 seasons. I think it's like 4 seasons, or 3. But I saw the first season. What Ted Lasso, the character, sort of embodies with like the citizen component is that he's not trying to change the world. He's not going about being like, I'm here to like disrupt the system and blah, blah, blah. He kind of comes in and he leads with this like, no, I want you to believe in yourself.
I'm going to be me. I'm going to help
I'm going to be myself. I'm not here to be like upset the system, but I'm here to impact like this soccer team. And it's like a very just like, I'm going to lead from like my own morals. I'm going to lead from like kindness. I'm going to lead from like this thing where I'm just like, I want people just to believe in themselves. And what I kind of hear in that example and in this kind of like diagnostic character of the citizen is like the everydayness of it.
Yeah.
You don't actually, in nowhere in this example does it say, this person is like picketing, for example, or
in small
like,
moments we can create change.
Yeah.
Love
and
that.
even just through relationships, like just through like connecting with people and building people up.
Okay.
Right. Like you're a soccer coach.
Love that.
So I think that's, again, open to interpretation, but that's how I'm kind of interpreting it. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. There are some ways that we can just kind of, we need that citizen, right? So moving on to the next one. The next one is labeled a reformer. So the reformer, when effective, works within the system to create policy or institutional change. I can think of a really good example of someone who does this in a TV and film. Do you have any ideas as who I'm thinking of?
I mean,
Think of a character.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Leslie Knope.
I don't know who that is.
Parks and Rec.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my God.
I'm
Jacob.
sorry. I'm okay. I have
Amy Poehler.
No, I have a confession. I do
Okay.
know Amy Poehler.
Yeah, yeah.
I have heard the name Leslie Knope.
Yeah.
But I have a confession right now.
Okay, confess.
Which is that sitcoms and short comedies and anything that's like scripted
Yeah.
is not for me.
But you know what? That's
I
okay.
can't
You're a
do it.
non-fic girly.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
There's something about it that I'm just like, wow, I'm so disconnected from whatever's happening here. And I think there's probably only one sitcom that I've ever watched,
Which is what?
Friends. And I didn't like it.
But you are also the person, I will say,
I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
you like documentaries. You
I
like
do.
reality
Yes.
TV.
Yes.
You watch a lot of that stuff.
I want like to watch real people doing real-ish things.
That's okay.
Even if it's for TV or fabricated, but I digress.
Okay, that's fine. You just don't
So
appreciate.
yeah, 1,000 apologies to the fandom about not knowing Leslie Knope.
Okay, well, Leslie Knope.
But I want to.
Okay, Leslie Knope.
Tell me.
Amy Poehler.
Yeah.
As Leslie Knope. She was a real like eager beaver go-getter. She,
Loved
she
her on
loved
SNL.
local government. She worked within the Parks and Recreation Department of her small town of Pawnee. And she was very much like, I'm going to bring about change.
Cool.
But she did it within the system.
Cool.
Where you have the Ron Swanson character who was very like, government's bad, right? So with the Reformer, what they do is
Is this,
that
sorry to interrupt, is this
Yeah.
also a Liz Lemon thing?
Liz Lemon is Tina Fey. Oh my God, we have so much to learn about. I love, okay, first
Liz
off,
Lemon is Tina Fey in 30
in
Rock.
30 Rock, which is
okay, let's go.
but they, to your credit, they were happening around the same time.
For someone that's so tapped into culture,
Yeah.
this is a culture that I like blows past me. Like
Is the Parks and Rec 30 Rock era?
Ted Lasso of it all of it.
Well, Ted
Yeah.
Lasso was like a couple years ago.
No, I know. I'm
okay.
not talking about.
Okay, so just in general.
This has been a long-standing issue for me.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? You know how to like calm people down when they're having an anxiety attack. I know the ins and outs of Liz Lemon's love life.
Yeah,
throughout
sitcom television.
7 seasons. So I don't know if
Love that for you.
who's more useful.
I don't know.
I think it's you.
So Leslie Knope is a reformer.
Yes, because she tirelessly works through the city hall and like the Parks and Rec department to
Yeah.
make small, tangible improvements that sort of reflect democracy and the values that she's upholding.
Cool.
But she uses the system, so a reformer. However, an ineffective reformer would be someone who becomes too bureaucratic, an elitist, or disconnected from the people in the name of the system.
Okay.
So a really good example of this, I'm like, you're not going to know who
I'm
this
like,
is.
Who would play her?
Who would play her? A good example of this is Dolores Umbridge.
Who would play her?
in
Who
Harry
is
Potter.
that?
You've seen Harry Potter.
I have seen Harry Potter.
If you didn't see Harry Potter, I would literally be like, we're stopping this. We need to go and watch Parks and Rec.
Cut the cameras.
We need to do everything.
Cut the cameras.
So in Harry Potter, Order of the
Dolores
Phoenix,
Umbridge
Dolores
is.
Umbridge.
She's the professor.
She's like a reformer gone wrong. Yes, she's the professor. She's the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in book 5 in the 5th movie. And she's there to sort of represent like the Ministry of Magic, like government, but she's all about institutional power, right?
Okay.
So her whole thing is about obedience and authority to the system.
Okay.
So you can see between a Leslie Knope and an Umbridge, whether you know them or not, whether you're cultured or you're swine, is you can see the two difference, right?
Yeah.
An effective reformer, for example, is someone who uses the systems and the institutions in place, works with them to bring about change, right? So they don't necessarily defend the system, but they use the system. Whereas an ineffective one is someone who upholds the system at all costs.
Okay.
When there's an Umbridge, right? So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. We're going to move on to Rebel.
This is number 3.
This is number 3.
Okay. Love it. How many are there?
There's one more after this.
Oh my God, I can't
So
wait.
there's the Rebel, and then
Okay.
there's the Change Agent.
Okay.
So the Rebel
Yep.
is challenges injustice head on using protest, disruption, or defiance to sort of shift public awareness.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King is one.
Malcolm X.
Yeah, yeah. But in the
Rosa Parks.
Okay, in the TV world, I'm using TV
Okay, yeah.
examples.
Batman.
Batman. Batman is actually an ineffective one.
Okay, whoa.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, whoa.
An effective one, for
Okay.
example, would be Katniss Everdeen
Of course.
from Hunger Games.
Yes.
Right. So she's a symbol of defiance. She sparks a movement against tyranny. She's very much against the system.
Yeah.
So you can almost see that the rebel and the reformer would necessarily see eye to eye.
But they're
Right.
kind of working and driving
They
towards the
have to.
same
They're both
goal.
necessary.
Okay.
Right.
So Katniss Everdeen
Yeah.
is more of like a rebel archetype.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she's an effective. It's what I liked about this. It's less about good and bad. It's effective and ineffective.
Love.
So an effective rebel like challenges injustice head on, right? An ineffective one becomes isolated, self-righteous, destructive, and sometimes alienates their allies. So Batman is a good example
Wow.
of an ineffective rebel.
But doesn't he like fight crime and like save the world?
He does. He's a bit of an anti-hero, which is good. But he is, when you become sort of fueled by like just the I'm right, like
Yeah.
you're less involved with involving other people in the process, then that, according to this article of what I'm learning, you become an ineffective rebel. Because
Isn't
you
he
need
also
people.
like trying to like avenge the death of his father?
His parents, both of them? Yeah.
Okay. Both of them. So
Yeah, because they're both
Batman
murdered.
So Batman is also has a cause.
Yeah.
So he's maybe not driving towards the type of social change that
He has a
the most of the
personal
people.
vendetta, but that's kind
Yeah.
of the thing that maybe sparks it. But
Got it.
And all the Batman girlies out there will be able to be like, no, it's this, because I only know a little bit, but it's more than that.
Right.
He's a billionaire. Remember that. He's also, by day, Bruce Wayne is a billionaire of Gotham City, and he's using his resources to also be this like nighttime vigilante that works outside of the law.
Y'all, I am
Yeah.
learning things for the first time here on the
But
pod.
the
I am
good thing,
loving it.
The reason why
Yeah.
he's like an ineffective rebel is because he works alone and his causes are very like self-driven. Whereas what this is suggesting is to bring about social change, you need to bring the people along with you, right? Because you
Of course.
can't do it just for yourself. Because when you become isolated, then you're not bringing about social change. You're just bringing about revenge.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense.
Our last one.
Okay.
The change agent.
Okay.
Okay. So an effective change agent builds broad awareness and community participation, linking personal and societal transformation. So in other ways, you are educating and mobilizing the broader public. So you're including the public as part of the change. An effective example of this would be Black Panther,
Who?
like T'Challa, like
Oh,
like the Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
So he's a great example of someone who sort of like balances tradition and progress, and he's leading a nation towards change.
Right.
Right. Versus
That's-
to go back to your Batman example, see the difference?
But I was actually wondering though, what's the difference between Black Panther and Katniss? Because aren't they also both rebellious in their own way?
No, well, I don't know. But to me, Katniss is more about the government, right? Where I think, what? I swore. I said I wouldn't this episode. Whereas I think T'Challa and like Black Panther is more about sort of like honoring the tradition
Yeah.
and like preserving that and protecting that and leading a nation.
Okay. That
Versus
tracks.
I don't know if that's part of Katniss's storyline.
Yeah.
Her whole storyline is like overthrow the government. Right? An ineffective example of a change agent. You will know this one.
Stop
I
it.
made this one.
Is this a quiz?
No.
Okay.
A comedic example of an ineffective change agent is Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you're like, what? Moira.
Ew, David.
Yes. And
Ew,
why
David.
is because she's an ineffective change agent because she's full of this lofty vision, but she's disconnected from practical realities.
You fold in the cheese.
So a change agent that is ineffective often gets lost in these abstract ideals and burns out and doesn't take in consideration the well-being of the public.
Right. I haven't seen Schitt's Creek, and so I apologize.
Yeah.
But
Culturally, you know
what-
enough about
I
Moira
do, yeah.
Rose.
What social changes she trying
She's
to
not,
create?
but it's just an example of like how someone can be like has like lofty ideas about things and is not grounded in reality.
Got it. So they're more of like a chaos agent than a change agent.
Sure, yeah.
They're not really there to help progress or
No,
push.
and I think what this is saying is that it has to be rooted and grounded in like the people around you,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're not taking consideration the people around you, then like these ideas aren't rooted to anything.
Love it.
Anyways, but that's my I don't know, that was just like kind of like my deep dive into trying to understand, you know, the different roles that we can take.
Now I need to know, which one are you?
I don't know.
Which one do you identify with? And I don't mean like which character. I more sort of mean like what role do you feel?
Or
how do you
am
show up?
I don't know. I feel like the draw is like you want to be the rebel, but I don't think that's my role. Or at least I don't think I'm really good.
What's the
with
draw?
That. I think just because you get to be the person who like, I see the social media of it all, right? Like to bring it back to your earlier question, like I think the rebel is often the person that gets like the big media attention, right? On social media, right? We see the people who are like there at the forefront, who are standing up, and in Hunger Games, Katniss becomes she becomes the face of the revolution, but she's not doing the day-to-day work, right? The whole third movie and third book is kind of about the fact that she's just a figurehead, and she's very much I'm not just a figurehead. I want to be part of this too.
But don't you think there's a lot of pressure to be the rebel?
Totally.
Like that actually isn't a comfortable position for everybody?
Totally. But what if social media, let's say if I'm like a baby activist, and I'm using social media, and what I'm seeing is like the rebel is the person who's like the celebrated hero. Like, I would feel like, oh, I need to be that.
Totally.
Like, that's how I bring about change.
Totally.
You know, I gotta super glue my hand to a Mona Lisa painting and throw soup on it. Like, I need to do that. That's the only way that I can talk about climate change.
Right.
Right.
I see the balance there, because it's hard to first like self-reflect enough to be like, this is me and this is, I think, what I have capacity for.
Yeah.
And then there's also the level of, okay, but what am I feeling pressure to do? Who do I feel like I have to be in this change ecosystem?
So what do you think? Like, bring it back to your first question, now that we've gone through these all.
What was the question?
You talked about like social media, the social media of it all.
I don't know. I think I mainly asked you because I don't know the answer.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. I think that there is a lot of pressure to be one way, but I don't necessarily know if, I don't know. I'm more on side with like letting people be who they are and need to be. And I also just hold a lot of like compassion for this weird world we live in, that not everyone wants social change. And I personally am a bit startled by that. And I also want to live in this reality, which is that not everyone wants social change, that some people actually want to go back to a time that where it felt more comfortable and more for them.
Yeah.
And so I think this conversation in general about social change, online or offline, is a sticky subject that I don't think yet have a blueprint for. And so I love little models like this, because I think it does like give us some guidance around like, how can I show up? And anytime we get permission to show up as ourselves, or in a way that is sort of built for us, I think is healthy and good, and doesn't create a pressure that doesn't need to be there. So I appreciate the structural kind of components of this work, which is the mapping of change.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of like why I brought it here, was because I was like, I don't know the answer, and I'm trying to make sense of everything, and like where can I participate, or how can I show up for things? Totally. And what I liked about it, at least from my takeaway, was not everyone should be one thing. Like the thesis of this whole thing was, you need a citizen, you need a rebel, you need a reformer, you need a change agent, right? Like you need all four, and one person cannot be all four, and all four don't necessarily work in tandem together, but you need all four to bring about some form of social change. I kind of like that.
I also love how you pointed us in the direction of that media and culture and art also really, I think, highlights the who we can be of it all. Yeah. And I like that there are still role models and people that we can turn to,
Yeah.
whether they're fictional characters or otherwise,
Yeah, yeah.
whether I know them or not.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do next time? In the alternative reality of this, I just do housewives.
Yeah.
I just pick housewives for you.
Just pick
Drag queens and housewives.
like real people.
I'm like, change agent Bianca Del Rio.
Yeah, I thought
and
you
you're
were-
like, oh.
I thought you were going to say Beyonce, and I thought,
Yeah.
that is a change agent, my love.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So I like that we have cultural artifacts and archetypes to turn to
Yeah.
in the absence of knowing what we can do ourselves.
Yeah.
And I love that even if it's like a character in a book or someone in a TV show, like, or someone in our real life, right? There are always people who are role modeling or emulating a different way of doing things, or perhaps a more guided way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. This
love
is
it.
why
love it.
media consumption is important.
I love
Media
it.
is important. Right.
That's also why there's a war on culture and art at the moment.
Amen, sister.
Because they don't want us to produce. So I say protect art.
Protect art. Thread the needle. Final thought. Connect us between our two segments today.
You know, I really do think that this conversation has been about this pressure to be engaged and online and the health benefits of being offline and being disconnected. I don't think that we can create effective change if we are way too online or way too in the soup. I do think that it is a form of activism. It is a revolutionary act to take care of ourselves and rest and recover. And part of that is being offline in real life, having fun, reclaiming joy, while also still being tapped in to the degrees that we can effectively create change. I do worry that we have too much information and there's too much out there
Right.
that we don't necessarily know how to sort through it all. So that's my thread.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Listen.
if we've ever needed a resurface, it's now.
Yay.
So why don't we take a quick whoosh, and we'll be right back for our final segment of the pod.
See you there.
Holy Hannah!
Wow.
Yeah,
I just had a huge gust of wind.
yeah.
That's really,
That was a whoosh.
that one took me.
That was a whoosh.
Yeah.
All right. So we're in the final segment of our pod.
Yeah.
Which it's the part of the pod where we just like to resurface, come up for air. Sometimes, our conversations get a little heady. We get a little into the weeds. So we like to kind of leave you all with a little bit of levity. Do you want to introduce our segment?
Yeah. So this is the part of the program called Asking for a Friend, where we just open up the floodlines. We ask people to submit a question just like you would a friend. And so you don't have to always take it all to a therapist. Sometimes you can just take it to a friend. And that's exactly what we do here. So without further ado,
And without further ado,
this is Asking for a Friend. Love how that jingle jangles.
ooh, so tasty.
I just love it. All right. What is in our question box today?
Okay, so this lovely listener has asked us, asking for a friend. My friend never finishes their drink, ever. Coffee, water, wine. Always one sip and then leaves it. Is it rude to say something?
Oh my gosh. What do
So
you think?
asking as
What
a
do you-
friend.
What do you think?
What? Is it rude to say something? No. I don't know. I think of you, for
Yeah.
example. So if you were just like doing this, I think I'd be like, Jake, what are you doing? Do you want a coffee or not?
No, I have a confession.
So I would do that.
I have a confession again. I
I
feel
feel a
like
second confession.
this is like
not a good episode.
this
for
is
you.
like confessional corner, and you
Yeah.
can look at my coffee mug over there on the
Yeah.
table. I do this. I am this person.
You start
Actually,
and don't finish.
Yeah, I in my previous relationship, it was something that was noticed.
Was it a point of contention?
Not contention, just something noticed.
Okay.
I do often leave food on my plate. There's something about it. Like when I'm eating like a sandwich or a wrap, like I don't eat like the ends.
Why?
I don't know. And when it comes to like drinks,
Yeah.
I don't always finish them.
Why?
I don't know.
That's so wild.
But I think this question,
Yeah.
when it comes to the friend, is interesting, right? Because obviously there's a question around like, is there like a psychological component to it? Or is this just like a bad habit? Is it a quirk? or is like something we should be concerned about. So you would say something. Wait, do you think it's different if it's like my things versus your things?
What do you mean?
Like if you made me like a really lovely, delicious mulled wine, and I
Oh
didn't-
yeah, I would clock it immediately that I'm like, oh, you don't like it?
right. Versus like if I made us mulled wine,
Yeah.
and then I didn't finish my own.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
there like I'm just wondering if there's like a bit of like a difference in way we
Oh, probably.
in a way we approach it
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it's a bit more personal.
I think so.
Yeah.
You don't?
I think there's a difference between not finishing things and leaving it out and being messy.
Yeah.
So if like you have a habit of like leaving your half drinking coffee all over
Yeah.
the house, I think that's different than, you know, if you clean up after yourself and you dump kind of the rest down the drain.
Okay, but wait. I think the question is it rude to say something?
yeah.
Would it be okay? So since you are a person who does this, if I came to you and I said, Jacob Marie, Saint
Yeah.
Pets Juju,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Why aren't you finishing your mulled wine?
I
Would
would
you be upset?
I think if I'm being like honest with myself,
Yeah.
it is usually because I'm either full or done with it. I do finish things. I have
Yeah.
finished things, but I also just don't want to drink it just because that was the amount that was put into a cup
Right.
or onto a plate. I'm
Okay.
kind of like, I'm done, so I'm finished.
So that's so wild because I think this might be like those slight like cultural things.
Yeah.
Where it's like for me growing up, it was like you have to finish.
You have to finish
You
it.
have to finish it. Like
Yeah.
I come from like an Italian household where it's like if you didn't
Right.
finish it, there must have been something wrong with it. If you didn't go for that second plate and if you didn't take leftovers, if you didn't like
If you didn't go for a second plate,
yeah, something was wrong. They'd be like, "Oh, so you didn't like it."
I
So I often, I don't know.
I totally get that.
I always finish everything.
But like to be fair, I personally don't find it rude. Like if someone were to point it out to me and
Yeah.
just say, "Oh, like why didn't you finish that?" or "You seem to never finish these things. Why is that?" or "Don't do that."
Yeah.
I don't think I would find it rude.
Okay.
So to the lovely listener, I don't think it's rude.
Okay.
I think especially if you tackle it with curiosity, I think you can even be doing the person a favor. It can be kind.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we sure solved that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that one was easy.
That was easy.
Yeah, some of them are hard.
Ish.
Oh, shit.
We have one coming up next week that I think is going to be hard.
Oh.
So stay tuned for next.
no.
Stay tuned for next week because
right.
we're at this place where we have a lot to say.
Oh, no.
Anyway, if you like what you heard, please like, comment, subscribe. Please get in touch with us. We love to see you on Instagram, so check in on the DMs.
Yeah.
And again, we've really loved being back. We're here, so thank you for being here as well.
Yeah.
We'll
Thank
see you
so
next
much.
week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, stars.
This isn't therapy.
I'm going to try not to say like a Fajudi.
So out of character.